Hello, everybody. I'm just locking the meeting. There we go.
Good morning. Good morning,
Hi.
everyone. Hi, Sis.
Hello. This morning's lesson is lesson 243. I have to laugh at the title. Uh, and I have a confession to make, family, that where I seem to be at is I've really seen the core of this idea of Coreen and the mind that thinks it knows something, and that the ego needs to be right and needs to know something. To be wrong is just like the death of the ego in this incarnation, and the attack, the self attack, and the attack on brothers, because if somebody's right, then somebody has to be wrong. And really looked at the core behind this thing of being right at the cost of somebody else being wrong, and the hatred and the attack that that includes. And it's really the attack against my holy self. It's been running this entire so-called lifetime, and it was so massive that I'm like nervous and tentative now about saying anything, because I want to make sure it's the Holy Spirit saying it and not an I know mind. So what does that look like? And I have no idea. I have no idea. I know sometimes that the Holy Spirit moves me and it feels in the flow, and there's other times where there's an I know mind, and I don't want that. I want to be wrong. I want to be okay in admitting I don't know anything. And so I was just telling Sis, I'm like, I have no idea even how to do this now. There's a tentativeness that I thought I had overcome, and it's back. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for your transparency,
Mm-hmm.
your emotional vulnerability. Thank you, Sis, for sharing that. And, that is where our safety is in hiding way out there in the open,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I feel to err on the side of silence as opposed to being the jabbermouth. And I'm afraid that that might meet with some criticism or dislike. So all this is just getting fleshed up. Wow. When I know there's some safety there, and there's some popularity there, and there's some pseudo love there. Without that, then what am I? And what happens to the friendship and the love and the relationship, the so called safety that one thinks they have by knowing things? It's like, oh man, this is so up.
Mm.
So it's fresh.
Well, I think a lot of us have that running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
And,
so much pressure in the world to know, to get it right. I can feel, just that a bunch of people going, yeah, that's my thing. It may not be your thing, but it's a big thing in the world about the pressure that we were put under. I was put under very, very young. Crazy amount of trying to be forced to learn at a level that I had no business being taught at, and just the terror of not getting it right, and the removal of love when you got it wrong. So that's a big, big thing in the world.
so the ego's need to be right is its mistaken belief
Mm-hmm.
that it will be lovable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, isn't it?
Yes,
So it's like if you're wrong, you're rejected.
that's it.
No love for you.
That's right. That's what started the pattern of separation. Yes, and I think that's pretty prevalent. And then you go out to be this super learner, and then come to discover you need to unlearn everything that you thought you knew. But there's no incentive to do that until you see the cost, the real cost of having a mind that always has to be right. Because when you're being right for your safety, somebody has to play the other side of that. Somebody has to be wrong. And while that sounds a little mild at this level of the journey in awakening, when you've done a lot of forgiveness work with all your stories and everything, again, we mentioned this before, that it comes down to you cleared away, but the core of the ego thought system is pure evil. It's pure hatred. It's the opposite of the highest love, which is God. So that was sitting behind this I know mind. The thoughts were cutthroat, you know, and it was being projected out, and then it got projected in, and then you get to see that you're still projecting this as a means against God. I'm still a little fuzzy around it because it's still really fresh, but I'm recognizing this is my defense against God. The insistence of using a mind that's not God's mind.
So, so sis, this is where the prayer or consistent prayer comes in. I want to be wrong
Yeah.
about whatever it is that the ego is needing to be right about.
Yes. Yes, I had to choke on those words yesterday when I saw all this. I was reading the section of War Against Yourself, and I remembered your prayer, and I sat there with a sister of mine on, on the phone in the morning to get the words out that I want to be wrong. In fact, I am wrong about everything. The ego knows nothing. So as long as I identify with Coreen, I've never known anything. And before those were words, I've said it before. Oh, I don't know anything. I don't know what it's for. I didn't believe it. I really did believe that I knew what things were for and that I've got it, and I don't. And to say I want to be wrong, where that would bring tremendous embarrassment and shame and fear. Now it's I really want to be wrong, to let Holy Spirit show me what's right.
Mm-hmm.
Still emotion right there. Just saying that. So certain am I that, love will be withdrawn. It's big.
Oh, so I mean, this really is amazing. Thank you for sharing from your heart, sis,
We
because this
agreed to
is
do that.
healing us all.
Mm.
Really, this is
Yeah.
not. Remember, this is not a personal healing. The ego still wants to take it into a personal healing, but it's not. You
No.
are healing the split mind of the sonship.
Mhm.
Yeah, by
Yes.
doing this, we are doing it together, right?
And there's the motivation to stay with it, right? There's just, yes. Now it's like, just go, run with this, take it all the way.
Mm. Because, and again, we haven't even read the lesson yet about judgment. That any need to be right is a decision to reject our brothers and God.
Yeah.
And lastly, it's a decision to reject our holy self, our true identity, any need to be right. That's why we can afford to jump in completely with the mantra, I want to be wrong about what the ego is
Yeah.
judging.
Yeah. And as you're going along this path, when you do enough clearing and hatred begins to be seen, it's there. It's been so covered up. So it's like scrubbing all the dirt away. And then you get to see, oh, crap, what's been sitting there all along. When you see it, run at it. Because for a long time I would see it and then I would try and just distract, or I'll get to that later. I didn't want to look at it, but run at it, because if you look at it, honestly, there's a thought that it's feeding upon, and when you see that, you'll see that that was projected on your brother. You can forgive it there, bring it to yourself, see the self attack, and then ultimately see how that whatever that message is behind that, the hatred, is how we really keep the self safe from God, who is love. We idolize this hatred. We have protected it for so long that we've dummied it up with layers and layers and layers. And I was telling sis before we hit record, like we shoot it like out like buckshot, you'll have some hatred, some annoyance, a little bit of resentment, a little bit of boredom, something, anything that's not love. But as long as it's smattered everywhere, that's just life, right? Hey, but you start doing the work, right? And then you can you that can't hide, I guess. Right? We're cleaning it, we come down, we see, oh, this is what's sitting there. And yeah, and that's the pure hatred. And it has to be seen, not to make it real, but to see what we are making the substitute God. We really did want it until we don't want it. And then we've got to look at it and then really transcend it by going through it. I'm watching what I say during the day now, and I'm laughing at myself about half the time. Other time I'm crying, and it's becoming kind of funny, but I can see in my mind that drive about protecting, being right, making sure, and the stray thoughts that make somebody else wrong so that I could be right. It's so ugly. It's so ugly. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the ugliest thing we'll ever see. Ever see. And that's what, of course, the ego doesn't want us to see, because then we'll choose against it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And the ego disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it ever was,
Right.
but yeah, we wanted it.
Mm-hmm. So I need today's lesson.
Okay.
Are you guys ready? Lesson 243. Today I will judge nothing that occurs.
Can we stop there?
Yeah. Yeah. We almost made it to the lesson.
It's all right. Gotta laugh. Oh dear. Today I will judge nothing that occurs. Immediately, the ego hijacks that thought and thinks, oh, I know what that's about.
It judges the sentence.
But nothing that occurs, just follow me.
I am.
Everything that occurs in our relationships today, right, in our body, in the world, on the news, all of it is in our mind. All of it comes from our judgment.
Yeah, that's the decision of what we think we are. And then we employ this god awful ego filter. And then we just see the contents of that god awful hatred deep inside, out of our awareness, everywhere. And on the body.
And, Holy Spirit can't take this off us until we see it and we choose against it. I want to be wrong about what I believe. I want to be wrong about what I judge.
I want to be wrong about myself.
Yes. Ultimately, yes. And immediately you can feel him rushing in,
Yeah.
Holy Spirit, because in that prayer, and that is a prayer, he can meet us there, because we then give him permission to reverse all of our judgments, all of our beliefs. And it doesn't even need to occur consecutively. That's what the miracle is for. These beliefs can be healed and undone by him simultaneously.
But he can't come in and take what we don't willingly offer, and we're not going to willingly offer what we're unaware of, which is the defense against Holy Spirit, right? Like, I never saw this. I had to follow the breadcrumbs of hatred to see what was really there and then go, oh my God. But before, you can't offer that over or make the invitation, right? Until,
Because it's not real. It's
right.
not authentic. We want to be right, and we want Holy Spirit.
But he just can't make the correction in my mind until I've discovered what it is that I've been hoarding
Yeah.
or protecting, right?
Yes.
It was like, okay, now that I really see how far down it goes, take that, right? But while we're not aware of it, how can we offer it over to Holy Spirit?
Well, we can't.
Right. I could see the perfection, if there was such a thing in the ego thought system about just keep it out of there, stay distracted, stay distracted. Don't go, don't do the, don't go in. Don't go in and find what's there.
And I think that's what the spiritual ego does.
Yes.
It uses concepts to cover this up, so it doesn't need to really look at the core of hatred of the ego thought system.
I was just reminded somewhere in the Course, doesn't he say that you're really terrified of going in? And what if I told you, and you're so afraid that you're going to find like the most vile whatever.
Mm.
But he says, what if you actually, is he talking about just like burrowing past that and finding the ultimate innocence and the light that you are? The light that you are has to be right behind the hatred that we've placed there to protect ourselves from the knowledge that we are that light.
That's right. That's right. Because what we'll see eventually is there was no sin.
Yeah. I'm just seeing it for the big freaking setup and game that it is, and now it's like, and it's really not real. Anyway, I'm having a moment of you don't want to do this online because you don't understand what's happening. So just sorry, family. Not sorry, but just processing live here, and I don't know what I'm doing, which is great. I don't know.
That's the most powerful place to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want to be wrong. You could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want to be wrong. Thank you, sis.
I am wrong. I am wrong.
Well, we all know that.
Yeah. I'm the last one to figure that one out. Guess what, Coreen?
Sis, thank you. You know you're coming close to God when you can cry and laugh
It's so true.
together.
I was telling Sis, I said I saw this picture of me. I said to my sister Mary, who I was doing processing this with yesterday morning. I said, there's my tombstone, and on it says, "I'm right." and I said, but I'm dead right. I don't. Yes, lots of laughter.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastic. So the need to be right ends in death.
Yes.
So we're actually on lesson 243. Today I will judge nothing that occurs.
Yes.
Do you want to read the rest? Sis?
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I will be honest with myself today. Finally, I will be honest with myself today. I will not think that I already know what must remain beyond my present grasp.
This was written for
This was
us.
written for me. Oh, this is so funny. Okay, so I will not think that I already know what must remain beyond my present grasp. I will not think I understand the whole from bits of my perception, which are all that I can see. Today I recognize that this is so.
Mm.
And so I am relieved of judgments which I cannot make.
Oh,
God.
feel that.
It's okay. Yes. Relieved of judgments which I cannot make. Thus do I free myself and what I look upon to be in peace as God created us.
Can you feel that?
Yeah.
See, there's no personal freeing.
Right.
You free yourself in this, but you free
Yeah.
all that you look upon as well. And that goes for everybody in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never known anything. Everything that I thought I knew was wrong. I didn't have a reference point. It was faulty perception. Yeah. I can't know anything apart from God. Father, today I leave creation free to be itself. I honor all its parts, in which I am included. We are one because each part contains your memory, and truth must shine in all of us as one. So understanding returns when we behold oneness. That's why we're so terrified of joining, terrified of love.
Yeah.
Today I will judge nothing that occurs. Thank you.
Beautiful lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, how miraculous, as usual,
The timing.
that this lesson should fall upon the day that you really get this in your experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How kind is Holy Spirit?
Yeah. Grace. And thanks, family, for holding my hand as I hold yours, and we do this together.
We really do this together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can just feel a part of myself saying thank you. Like the day I said to this body, you're no longer going to be a fear and separation device. It's the same thing right now. It's just the mind just saying thank you, that I don't have to be in slavery to some unnatural job.
Yeah. What a release and a relief.
Thank you. Thanks, sis.
Thank you.
All right. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining.